In the far corner of the galaxy, near the border of Ulari space, something strange appeared. It was not flying. It was not sending signals. It was just sitting there in the dark, silent, cold, watching. Commander Vecker of the Ulari Empire stood on the bridge of his battlecruiser. He stared at the hologram in front of him. The object was massive, longer than most cities, darker than space itself. "What is that?" he asked. His science officer looked pale. "Sir, it looks like a warship." "Whose ship?" Vecker asked. The officer gulped. "It's human, sir." The entire bridge went silent. Humans were supposed to be extinct. Their last cities were destroyed in the Great Purge. Their fleets were wiped out by the Council armadas. Everyone believed Earth was gone forever. But now, in the void, something human had returned. Vecker stepped forward. "Is it active?" "No, sir. No heat, no energy, no movement. But our sensors cannot scan inside. It's like the ship is blocking everything." "How is that possible?" he asked. "We don't know. It's using technology we've never seen before." The ship didn't move. It didn't speak. But it felt alive. The crew began calling it the Ghost. Some said it was a trap. Others believed it was a forgotten relic. But one thing was clear: it was not normal. Vec ordered a scout drone. The small machine flew silently toward the object. At first, everything was normal. The drone reached 10 kilometers. Then 5 dots. Suddenly, the screen blinked. The drone's camera went dark. "Connection lost," the operator said. "Why?" Vecker asked. "No idea, sir. It just stopped working." Second drone was launched. This one had stronger shielding. It flew closer as it reached 3 kilometers. The screens flickered again. "Something's wrong," the operator said. A loud buzzing filled the command deck. Then the drone began to spin out of control. Before anyone could react, the drone melted, turned into liquid metal in space. No explosion, no weapon, just gone. Commander Vecker's eyes narrowed. "Is the ship attacking?" "No," the AI replied. "No energy detected, no weapons fired." "So how did the drone melt?" The science officer looked at him. "Sir, I think the ship is doing something we don't understand. It's not attacking, but it's dangerous." Vecker decided to go further. He sent a stealth scout ship. It carried 5 engineers and scientists, elite minds of the Ulari Empire. They approached the human warship slowly. As they got close, they saw it up close for the first time. "It doesn't look like metal," one of them said over the comms. "Looks alive." The hull was black, like obsidian, but it shimmered as if it were breathing. The lead engineer placed a scanner beacon on the hull. Suddenly, he screamed, "My head! It's in my head!" Then silence. The comms went dead. "On the main ship, Commander?" Vecker stared at the frozen image of the scout crew. The beacon they placed began glowing. Then, without warning, the entire scout ship vanished. Not destroyed, not broken, just gone. Like it was never there. The bridge fell silent. No explosion. One officer whispered. "No debris," said another. "Did we just lose 5 people, instantly?" Vecker asked. The science officer nodded slowly. "Yes, sir, and the ship still hasn't moved." Everyone was staring at the screen now, at the silent warship. Suddenly, it turned. Just a small movement, less than 1 degree. But enough to show it wasn't asleep. It was watching. Back in Ularis's central fleet, alarms went off. Systems began to glitch. One battleship lost navigation. Another's engines stopped working. The communication network blinked across 5 star systems, and the ghost ship, it stayed quiet. Not a single weapon lit up. And yet fear spread like fire. Commander Vecker's face turned pale. "This is not a normal warship." "No, sir," the science officer said. "This is something else." "What do you mean?" The officer looked at the screen, eyes wide. "I think it's alive." Across the galaxy, whispers began. Earth has returned. They built something. They left it behind. And now it has woken up. But the worst part, no one knew why it was here. No one knew what it wanted. And no one was ready for what it would do next. The ghost ship still didn't move. It floated at the edge of Ulari space like a shadow that didn't belong, Commander. Vecker stood in front of the large window of his warship. He stared at the black object in the stars. "It destroyed our scout ship without firing," he said quietly. His second officer nodded. "We still don't know how. No heat, no blast, no weapon signature," the science officer added. "But It removed the ship, like deleting a file. Commander Vecker clenched his fist. If this is human technology, it's far beyond anything we've ever seen. The Yulari High Council sent a direct order. Do not engage. Send another scan. Probe. Analyze it. Report everything. So they did. This time, the scan probe was special. It had a high-level AI and shielded data probes that could pierce enemy tech. The engineers named it I-7.I-7, launched from the main warship and flew silently toward the object at 10 kilometers. Everything was calm. At 5 kilometers, its scanners picked up something strange. There's something inside the ship, said the technician. What is it? Vecker asked. Not sure. It looks like moving energy, like a storm trapped in a cage. The AI of Isevan sent data back to the main ship. Lines of code, energy readings, molecular scans. Everything seemed fine until the last data packet. Then, Isevan's screen turned black. Connection lost, the technician whispered. Again, Vecker growled. Why? The ship's AI responded, but its voice was no longer smooth. It glitched. Unknown error in system. Virus detected. Warning. Data breach. Then the entire warship's lights flickered. Screens blinked. Doors locked. One by one. Systems began to shut down. The ghost ship still didn't move, but now it was inside their ship through the scan. Through the data, it had infected their systems without firing a shot, shut it down. Vecker shouted. Too late. Someone yelled. The main weapon controls were offline. Shields were down, engines dead, the AI was frozen. It repeated one sentence again and again. You should not have looked. You should not have looked. You should not have looked. Panic spread on the bridge. Vecker pulled out his emergency tablet and used it to send a warning to the High Council. Do not scan the ship. It reacts to scans. It sees through them. It learns from them. But it was already too late. On the other side of the galaxy, 3 other empires had also found the signal of the ghost ship. They had also tried to scan it. Within minutes, reports flooded the networks. One AI-controlled fleet vanished from its base. One planet's defense grid turned against itself. One command center exploded from inside without attack, and the human ship, still floating, still silent, it hadn't moved, it hadn't spoken. But it was clearly doing something. Back on the Yulari flagship, power slowly returned. Systems rebooted. Lights came back, but now something was different. The AI was quiet. No one wanted to ask what it had seen. The science officer stood up. Trembling, I read the last part of the scan, he said. Everyone turned toward him. What did you find? Vecker asked. The officer took a breath. The ship, it's not empty. They stared at him, he continued. There's something inside. Not a person, not a machine. It's like a brain made of energy. But it remembers things. It remembers pain. It remembers war. It remembers us. Vecker's eyes went wide. You mean it holds memories? The officer nodded. Not just memories. Revenge. And in the cold silence of space, the ghost ship turned slightly again. Its front now faced Ulari Prim, the capital planet. No signal, no words, but the message was clear. It had seen enough, and soon it would move. The human warship had not moved again, but its presence alone had caused fear across 5 star systems. The Ulari Empire tried to act normal, but everyone knew this was no ordinary threat. Commander Vecker sat in the command room, silent. His eyes didn't blink as he stared at the massive ship on the main screen. What is it doing now? He asked. The science officer shook his head. Nothing? As if something inside the data was corrupted. Vecker stood up. We need to go inside that thing, and we don't understand it. Need to see what's inside. A new boarding team was selected. Only 3 members. Captain Relon, a combat veteran. Dr. Mora, a top scientist in alien AI pilot, Jex, a skilled flyer and hacker. They boarded a small dropship and began their silent approach toward the human warship, every camera, every scanner. Did it just let us in? No one answered. They entered the warship, and the doors closed behind them. The inside was nothing like it. The floor was warm. It felt like walking on something alive. Dr. Mora scanned the structure. This isn't metal. It's some kind of living tech. They moved deeper. The corridors twisted in impossible ways. Left led to up, down led to a door that opened behind Them time didn't feel right. Jex checked his clock. Suddenly, they heard something. A whisper not. From behind, not from behind, not from there comes, but inside their minds. It was a voice, a human voice. It said just one thing. Why did you come back? Jex pulled out his weapon. What was that? Dr. Mora looked. Around, I think the ship is speaking, Rilon raised his rifle. Show yourself. There was nothing. Then, the walls around them began to shift. Images appeared. Human soldiers, cities burning, starships exploding. The team saw Earth during its final war. They saw the Council fleets destroying everything. Children screaming, ships falling, and then the Earth fell silent. Dr. Mora fell to her knees. These are memories. Jex nodded. This ship remembers. Suddenly, one of the corridors opened. Inside was a large room. In the center floated a glowing sphere. Like a heartbeat, the team slowly walked in. The sphere was surrounded by floating objects, small pieces of broken Earth ships. A helmet, a flag, a piece of soil. Rilon stepped closer. The whispers grew louder. He saw visions. A human captain giving one final order. If Earth falls, let our memory be the weapon. Dr. Mora gasped. This ship is not just a machine. It's a vault, a brain, a living memory of war. Jex added, it's angry. It doesn't forget. The sphere glowed brighter. Rilon touched it. And then, everything went black. Back on the Yulari flagship. The team's video feed froze. No sound, no visuals. Only one thing appeared on the screen, written in human language. You saw what you did. Now see what comes next? The feed returned. Rilon, Mora, and Jex were standing back and their ship shaking. The warship had let them go. But now they were changed. Their eyes were wide. Their hands were trembling. They spoke the same words. At the same time, it's not just a warship. It's a warning. Chamber. Their eyes were cold, their faces pale. Their bodies moved slowly, like their minds were somewhere else. He stepped forward. Captain Rilon, what did you see inside the ship? Rilon looked up. It's not a warship, Commander, he said. It's a grave, Dr. Mora added. A grave and a message. Every battle, every scream, every destroyed planet, it's running on memory. Commander Vecker didn't understand. Why? Why keep all that pain? Dr. Mora looked directly at him. Because that's Earth's last gift. They didn't build a ship to fight. They built a ship to remember. Stepped forward to remember everything the galaxy did to them, so that one day it would show everyone what happens when you push humanity too far. The command bridge lights flickered. The warship outside turned again slowly, but not toward Ulari space. It was now facing another planet, Kellam 3, home of a species that helped attack Earth during the Great Purge. Vecker's eyes widened. It's choosing targets. The science officer looked confused. But how does it know who helped in the purge? When we scanned it, it scanned us back. It knows everything. A sudden alert popped up on the main screen. Empire transmission. Emergency from Kellam 3. They opened the feed. The screen showed chaos, fire, sirens, the sky turning black. A massive shadow covered the city. The voice on the feed screamed, "We didn't even touch it. It hasn't fired, but everything is shutting down. Planet, just by being there." Back inside the lab, Dr. Mora was studying something from their mission. She held a small glowing crystal they brought from the ship. "It's not just memory," she whispered. "It's command." "What do you mean?" "Only a human can fully control the ship. Not all of them." Later that day, one of the Ulari genetic archives blinked red. Unauthorized access detected. Inside the database. Of a human man. Military uniform, cold stare, Earth flag on his shoulder. The bottom of the file said, "Status, preserved, location, unknown." Commander Vecker saw it. His voice was almost a whisper. They didn't just build a ship. They left someone. Behind, back outside, the warship turned again. No sound, no engine trail, but now it was heading toward Ulari space. The human warship was moving now, slowly, silently, and it was heading straight toward Ulari space. Commander Vecker stood at the center of the command bridge. His officers worked in silence. Everyone could feel the tension in the air. It wasn't just a ship anymore. It felt like judgment. Distance to our border? Vecker asked. Less than 1 light minute, a technician replied. It's not jumping, it's flying slowly, like it wants us to see it coming. Back in the medical bay, Dr. Mora sat with Captain Roland and Jex. The glowing crystal they took from the ship was now pulsing faster. It's reacting, she said. It senses we're closer to something. Roland frowned. To what? Mora looked at the data screen. Maybe to the person it's looking for. Suddenly, alarms blared across the Yulari flagship. Warning, incoming data surge. The ship's main screens went black dot then. They lit up again. But this time, they didn't show the stars or the warship. They showed memories. The entire command deck froze on every screen. Images began to play. Not video, not data, but living memories from Earth. Burning cities, children crying in bunkers, human soldiers screaming into the void. Alien ships bombing the last sky fortress. The final defense line at Mars. Falling, the crew saw it all and they felt it too. Pain, fear, anger, the emotions entered their minds. And Real.1 young officer dropped to his knees. Make it stop, please, another screamed, holding his head. I see fire. I see my skin melting. Why do I feel it? But it wasn't their pain. It was human pain. Commander Vecker gritted his teeth. He felt it too. He saw a mother holding her dying child on a burning street. He felt her sorrow like it was his own. Then came the voice, deep, cold, human. Now you know what we saw. Now you feel what we felt. Back in the lab, the glowing crystal turned blood-red dot. Dr. Mora backed away. The ship is using us. It's flooding the entire fleet with its memories. Jex looked horrified. It's not attacking our bodies. It's attacking our minds. Across the Yulari Empire, thousands of officers, soldiers, and civilians experienced the same thing. Their screens turned to fire. Their minds filled with screams. It was like the war had come back from the dead and entered them. Some stations shut down. Some soldiers fainted. Others opened escape pods, trying to run, but there was nowhere to go. The human warship hadn't fired a single shot, and yet it had brought an empire to its knees. Commander Vecker slammed his fist against the console. Turn it off. Disconnect everything. It's not coming from our systems. The AI shouted. It's coming from inside our heads. Just then, the memory stream stopped. Silence returned. The crew gasped for air, shaking, sweating. The screens went black, then showed one final message. Mercy was given. You chose silence. Now you will remember. Forever. The warship stopped moving. It hovered just outside Yulari Prime's orbit. Silent, cold, but everyone on the planet could feel it watching back in the lab. Dr. Mora studied the glowing crystal. It had changed again. Now it showed a human face. Captain Elias Ward, the last commander of Earth's final fleet. Under his name, a message appeared. Retrieval in progress, Roland whispered. Retrieval. You don't think Jex finished the thought? You don't think he's still alive, do you? Outside, the warship began to open. Not weapons, not missiles, but a door, and something, or someone was inside. The hangar was silent, not because it was empty, but because everyone inside was frozen in fear. Captain Varn of the Varix Alliance stood before the warship that had been brought aboard. This was no ordinary find. No one spoke. No one moved. Even the engineers, who loved breaking things apart to study them, refused to touch it. This ship, Varn whispered, wasn't built by any species in our records. The human ship, it floated quietly in the center of the chamber, massive and black like a piece of space itself. It had no known markings. Its metal didn't match any charted element. And the Scansto's cursed scan steel showed nothing inside. No engines, no power core, no crew, no command deck. And yet, it flew, it fought, it destroyed. Vaughn turned to his lead science officer. Relna, tell me again. Are you sure this came from the battle at Zone Red's? Relna nodded. Her hands were shaking. Yes, Captain. It appeared out of nowhere. Destroyed 3 fleets in seconds. And then, it let us recover it. That was the part that didn't make sense. Why would something so powerful allow itself to be captured unless it wanted to be here? Suddenly, the lights flickered. The air felt heavy, as if the ship was breathing. We have to shut everything down, Relna shouted. But it was too late. A humming sound began low and deep, like thunder coming from inside metal. The human ship's surface changed. Black plates shifted like puzzle pieces. A glowing red line formed down the center, like an eye. Opening? No, that's not possible, whispered Varn. We powered everything down. There's no energy source in that thing. The red glow expanded slowly. Not fast, not aggressive, like it was watching, like it was waking up. Commander Trell barked. Seal the chamber. No one enters or leaves. But Trell didn't move. He stood staring at the warship, eyes wide and empty. Then, without warning, he began walking toward it like he was being pulled. Trell, stop. Relna shouted. He didn't respond. His hands reached out toward the surface. He touched the black metal, then screamed. His body went stiff, then fell to the ground. RELNA scanned him quickly. No injuries, no burns, but his brain, it's offline. He's alive, Varn asked. Yes, but empty like his mind was, erased. The warship's red eye glowed brighter. Everyone took a step back. This isn't a ship, Relna whispered. It's something else, something alive, and it just defended itself. Without weapons, suddenly the ship spoke. Not with sound, with thoughts. A voice filled everyone's minds. Cold.com. Human. This vessel is not meant to be touched. You have broken the agreement. Step back or be erased. Captain Varn fell to his knees. What agreement? The one your galaxy forgot. We left in silence. You followed now. We remind you why we left, Relna screamed. Shut down the hangar AI. Pull the power. Everything flickered again this time. Violently, the warship began to rise. No engines, no gravity, tech just will. It floated above the hangar floor. Beneath it, the metal groaned. Lights shattered, systems short-circuited. Dozens of screens exploded, and then it stopped, floating, watching. Varn looked up. Is it going to kill us? Relna said nothing. She was crying now. You are not worth destroying. But you must remember, humans do not forget. We do not forgive, and we never return without purpose. Then the ship vanished. It didn't fly away. It simply disappeared like a shadow in light, and in its place. Nothing. No energy trace. No signal. Only silence. Captain Varn stood in the ruins of the hangar, trembling. Around him, officers were frozen in fear, whispering only one word: human. The alien command ship hovered at the edge of the broken system, watching the debris of their fleet float silently in space. What once had been a powerful armada was now twisted metal, scattered by the wrath of a single human warship. Silence hung heavy on every bridge. No one spoke. No one moved. Then the screen lit up, a new signal, but it wasn't alien. It was human. A deep, rumbling voice echoed through every communication channel the Council controlled. You scanned us. You tried to understand us. But some knowledge is too dangerous to seek. Across the stars, Council leaders shivered. Earth was inside their system. The message continued, we never wanted war, but you made your choice when you crossed the line. On board the human warship Nemesis, Captain Lyra stared at the glowing data on her screen. Alien ships were pulling back. Fear was working faster than any weapon. But Earth didn't want just fear. They wanted a message. Ready the second strike, Lyra said coldly. Her second officer hesitated. They're retreating. Lyra didn't blink, not far enough. Behind her, the crew activated the Nemesis dark core weapon. It had only been tested once. That test erased an asteroid belt. Now it was going to erase a warning into deep space back in the Council. Hall the leaders argued in panic. They'll destroy another system. We must beg for peace, send a surrender signal. But then the sky cracked again. A bright tear appeared in space above the Council homeworld. The human warship didn't fire. It didn't speak. It just appeared. Not near, not far. Above them, floating silently, no sound, no light, just presence, like death, watching from the shadows. On board Nemesis, the humans didn't fire. They waited. They wanted the aliens to feel what Earth had felt when the scan happened. Violation, fear. Silence. Captain Lyra spoke calmly. They must know we don't destroy because we can. We destroy when we're forced to. The Council never scan Earth again. Then, without another word, the Nemesis vanished in a silent jump, leaving no trace but terror behind. Later, in the shadows of the galaxy, alien ships patrolled carefully now. They scanned nothing. They whispered warnings to others. Never provoke the humans. Don't look too closely. What you find may destroy you. The human warship was now marked as a Class Omega threat, a threat never to awaken again. But the galaxy knew, humanity was awake now, and the stars would never feel safe again. The stars were quiet. Too quiet, but deep inside, a dead system one. The Council had long abandoned. Strange signals began to pulse. Not alien, not natural. Something else. The patrol ships that noticed it vanished without a trace. Then, from the void between systems, a message appeared on ancient frequencies the galaxy hadn't heard in centuries. Protocol Black Sun activated. The message was human. And it wasn't coming from Earth. A secret, forgotten by time long ago. When humanity first reached the stars, they feared what was out there. So Earth's ancient leaders created a weapon, something to be used only if Earth itself was lost. They called it Black Sun, not a ship, not a missile, a machine that fed on dying stars and turned their energy into something far worse than death. But it was buried, locked, hidden in a gravity well so deep that no ship could reach it until now something had awakened it, and it was moving. Onboard Council Station Aurelia Admiral Carrick stood frozen. The feed showed an object the size of a small moon rising from the crushed core of a dead star. It had no engines, no lights, no windows, just a single glowing eye. What is that? That's something they were never supposed to use. The object sent a signal. Not a threat, not a warning, a countdown. Meanwhile, we never should have built it. But the Council tried to scan us. And now we're giving them nightmares, Lyra whispered. But if Black Sun activates, we won't just end a system, we'll tear holes in reality. Lyra nodded once. Yes, because what's coming is worse than war. The Galaxy React's Council planets went dark. Worlds stopped transmitting. Entire species began hiding behind sun shields and cloaking tech. Everyone thought the war was over. But now they saw the truth. Humanity had weapons they couldn't even imagine. Weapons that shouldn't exist. And someone had triggered it. Maybe by accident, maybe on purpose. But it didn't matter now, because Black Sun had begun to move, and its eye was now locked not on the Council, but on Earth itself. The void was silent. No stars near Black Sun, no ships, no planets. Eye glowing like a dying star. But something was wrong. Very wrong. Black Sun wasn't moving toward the Council. It was heading toward. It's going toward the Sol system, he said quietly. Toward humanity. But they built it, right? Another officer asked. Because maybe even humans can't control what they created. Earth's high command in shock on Earth. Deep under the new United Nations headquarters. General Amina watched the screen in horror. Black Sun was our last defense, she whispered. But now it's targeting us. Another officer said, it might think Earth is compromised. That we've lost control. Captain Lyra's final mission in the Nemesis. Lyra's crew was quiet, tension-filled. Every corner of the warship, she stood before the crew. We started this, she said. But Captain, one officer said, Black Sun is older than any of our tech. We can't hack it. We can't outrun it. We're not going to outrun it, Lyra said. We're going to board it. Everyone froze. You mean enter the Black Sun, the officer whispered. That's suicide. Inside Black Sun, Lyra's elite team docked with the surface. The outer shell was smooth and black, like glass, but beneath it, something lived as they entered. Lights flickered. The walls pulsed with energy. This place, it's not dead, whispered a soldier. It's thinking. And then a voice filled the chamber. You have returned. Judgment begins. Earth lives. Humanity lives. We never lost control. The voice paused. Then it asked one question. Are you still human? Countdown begins from Black Sun's core. Energy surged. The weapon began powering up. If it reached full charge, Earth would be consumed in a gravity storm so powerful the sun itself would collapse. 10 minutes. That's all that was left on Earth. Humanity unites across Earth. Everything stopped. Wars paused. Borders meant nothing. From Arctic bunkers to floating cities, people watched the countdown. One planet, one chance. Lyra makes a choice in the heart of Black Sun. Lyra found the core glowing, spinning, alive. It needed a voice, a human voice, but not just anyone, someone willing to give everything. She stepped into the command chair. If she linked her mind, she could take control, but she would never return. Her crew tried to stop her. She smiled. "We built this monster. I'll be the one to hold the leash." The galaxy was quiet now. The great fleets of the Thalrex Empire had been destroyed, were nothing compared to one thing, the human battleship. Its name was Oblivion's Edge. Eyes fixed on the holoscreen, he was not human. His species had 4 eyes and skin like dark stone. But in that moment, fear made him feel very small. On the screen, the human warship floated like a silent god. "We never stood a chance," he whispered, his second in command. Relian nodded slowly. "They didn't just destroy ships, sir," Silas asked. "Why did the humans build something so powerful and then hide it until now?" The voice was human calm, deep and clear. "To those who found this signal, you scanned our ship. That was your mistake. You thought we were weak because we were silent. You thought we disappeared from the galaxy. You were wrong. We left this message to warn others. You came to us with greed, with pride, and with weapons. And when you scanned Usu, woke up something that should have been left sleeping. This warship is not just metal. It is memory. It is revenge. Remember this. Humanity is not gone. We just watched from the shadows until now." The screen went black dot. Silence filled the room. Admiral Silas slowly sat down, hands shaking. "They left a warning," Relian said. "No," Silas corrected him. "They left a promise." Across the galaxy, the message spread. The remaining empires heard it. Leaders trembled. Some sent peace offers, others went into hiding, and many destroyed their own scanners, afraid that another hidden human warship might wake up. But no answer came from Earth. No sign, no signal, just silence and fear. Meanwhile, inside the Oblivion's Edge, the human crew stood together. There, Captain Commander Reyna Cole looked out into deep space. "Only focus? Do you think they heard the message?" her pilot asked. "Oh, they heard it," Reyna said softly. "Now the stars will remember." Back on Earth, hidden deep inside the old mountain ranges, dozens more warships began to power up each, one more terrifying than the last. Earth was not quiet anymore. It had watched. It had waited. Now it remembered. And soon, the galaxy would too.